right, I got so very excited to be here with Alex Vaughn. How's it going, Alex?
It's going pretty good. How's it going for you?
Everything is good. It's been a minute since we talked. We last spoke in 2017. You were at SOBs, at Soul Village in New York City. Here you are now on tour with Ari Lennox. Like, just reflect back on a young Alex Vaughn and just that journey and how she would feel in this moment right now and just that grind that you've had to take.
Young Alex would be super proud of me right now. We've stuck to the vision, stuck to the mission. It's been a long journey. It's been a lot of moments where we felt like we were going the wrong direction, or that, this may be holding me back, or maybe it's something that I need to change within myself. And we figured it out, and we got to this point, and we're right on schedule. So I feel good. We feel good. She'd be very happy right now.
Amazing. Most artists, after working for a couple of years, the music industry is not easy. There's a lot of uncertainty. Like, how did you manage to stick through it all and just manage to push through? Because I know it wasn't easy. There were a lot of tough times. So just talk about how you kind of managed all of that.
Absolutely. Well, first things first, I had to definitely, pray. Lean on my village. I have an amazing team, people who I could just help talk through these moments. And I know that I can trust them with these vulnerable moments, because I don't know, sometimes you don't know how to navigate them by yourself. And I think one of the biggest things have been to really know how to talk to myself and really just take a deep breath and woosah and teach myself patience and how to be more present, so I'm not driving myself crazy about what isn't happening.
Right.
And I could put more energy into what is happening.
Right.
There are a lot of amazing things that are going on in real time.
Right. And as an artist, I'm sure you're super impatient. You're super critical of yourself. What's that like for you to have hit rock bottom, I'm sure, multiple times, to climb yourself out of that, to have to encourage yourself and have others encourage you that you can do this? Like, that's not an easy thing to go through.
No, it is not. I think it's really shifting my thinking more than anything. I think when I get to these super low moments where, when you're creating, you just think that this is the best thing ever. And then now that you have another channel of people to listen to your art, and they have opinions, and it may not be the same as yours, and you start questioning if you are good at music or not, or if you're capable of writing, or if you, all these things that just start to rabbit hole into something irrational and just take you just down to a place that you don't have to be. It's really just how you talk to yourself. I've been practicing positive self-talk, really learning that this is all part of the sport. It's not necessarily shooting slam dunks every time. It's just showing up. So once you come to terms that, these low moments are part of the process, as long as you're still showing up, it becomes more fun. It just takes the edge off, and it helps you get back up and wipes the dirt off for the next challenge.
Right. I remember back in 2017, we asked a question of whether you would be interested in signing with a major label if the opportunity presented itself. And 2017 was a different time. Labels were very much still a thing. In 2023, it's all about independence. You've signed with LRVN or LVRN, major label situation, and a lot of times you fear that you lose that independence when you sign with a major. But when I listen to your music, I still hear Alex Vaughn in it. Like, just talk about that whole label situation and what made you think this was the right fit for you.
Sure. So I've always wanted to make sure that my music was protected and taken care of, and my creative space and my creativity was never tainted. And by the graces of God, that happened to be with the record label. LVRN is like a boutique label, and they are really selective of who they bring into their space, and they really care about the music and the soul and preserving that. And I got that energy immediately when I met them. It wasn't necessarily it didn't feel like I was meeting a big machine that I was intimidated by. I felt like I was meeting other people who just cared for the art, and I could make eye contact with them. I said that right, eye contact?
Yeah.
I can make eye contact with each and every one of them, and I can just feel that we're all on the same mission. Like I said, my music is my baby, and I want to make sure that if I'm going to be sharing my baby with anyone, that they are able to take care of it and nurture it as well as I can. So, it's been a great partnership so far.
Right. What do you think they saw in you? Of course, we know you do the piano thing, you can write, you do all that, but what do you think they saw in you and your talents?
Well, I remember during the pandemic, they did like this Instagram talent show, and I just randomly requested to get on. And at the time, all you could do was nothing in your house.
Right.
And I had a piano, and I sung and played. I think they just saw me. I don't even think my hair was done. I didn't have on any makeup. I was just singing an original song. They just saw my soul. Like, they knew that music has always been, is the only language that I speak. And
right.
That's the language they speak. So we realized we spoke the same language.
Right. And of course, you first released Voice Notes, which I felt like really let people into like your creative space. Really got people to see how you create. Actually, got them to see not only your talent but your ability to be raw, vulnerable, and be okay with it not necessarily being perfect. You could hear the imperfections, but I think that's what makes the project so cool. Just talk about your mindset when releasing that EP.
So it's funny that you asked about my mindset, because I was not on board with dropping that project at first.
Right.
Those songs are literally voice notes. So, they're unedited. I wrote them and created them in the privacy of my own space. They were very vulnerable moments. The songs have never been made into MP3 records. So for the most part, once I created them, I just, wanted to get my emotion out and just leave them there. Of course, my team got a hold of them, not in a bad way, like I played them for them, but
right.
They were like, nah, these can't sit in your phone anymore. Like, they have to be released. And I was a little embarrassed, because these are songs there's some songs that I create to just get the thought off.
Yeah.
Not every song is created to be released. It's like therapy. And those stories specifically were very dark. And once I was able to get the song off, I just kind of erased the entire scenario from my brain.
Right.
So it was like a cool lesson in me tapping back into old situations and old experiences, and just finding a new way to channel them and to be okay with my vulnerable moments.
Right.
So it was a process,
Amazing.
But I'm happy it's out.
No, absolutely. I love that project.
Thank you.
So Alex, along with Voice Notes, of course, you dropped your EP, The Hurtbook, which when I listened to it, it was from top to bottom. I felt like what I loved about it was how vulnerable it was, and then you just kind of go through the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Throughout that entire project, from the start to beginning. Just talk about creating that project and how it all came about.
So, originally The Hurtbook was about a compilation of love stories between me and just people throughout my life. And then as I started to evolve and make different moves for my career, I noticed that there was a shift happening, not only in the romantic aspect of my life, but also in my friendships, and ultimately in my relationship with myself.
Right.
And those felt a little bit deeper than the romantic things that I was experiencing. And I wanted to and it hurt, I didn't want to make a project about despair or being sad or blaming it on other people, because I knew that the way that my relationships are a reflection of my relationship with myself.
Right.
So I wanted to make a project about self and just how it's okay to experience these emotions, and how it's all part of our growing process. You're not broken, you're just hurt. It's just a book of hurt and feelings.
Bunch of standouts on this project. The one that I loved the most was Do You Ever?
Yeah.
Had that throwback 2000 sound to it. I know you worked with Rodney Jerkins on it.
Shout out to Rodney Jerkins.
Just talk about creating that song.
So I was there was a writing camp for me back in Orlando last summer with Rodney Jerkins, and to be honest, there's not really much of a glamorous story to Do You Ever. I walked into the room and they already had that song done. It was just on a loop.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this sounds like a Rodney Jerkins classic.
Yeah.
And so I immediately cut it. I laid it down and it was a wrap.
Right.
Yeah.
You did a couple of records with Camper as well. That's our guy.
Oh yeah, I love DJ Camper. We did Demon Time on the project together, and a ton more.
Yeah.
Also, Rodney Jerkins, he did 2 other songs on my project as well.
Yeah. And the other one that really stood out to me was I'm Leaving, because it's really cool. It's it's a sad song, but it's also an uplifting record. You kind of just go through the stages and you end it up with I'm Leaving, which is that's pretty cool. I mean, just talk about that one.
You know, it's so funny. That is one of my oldest songs
Wow.
on the project. I wrote that in like 2014.
Oh, wow.
And I was fist fighting the entire label to not put it on the project, which is so crazy because I was like, it's just old and it's outdated. But crazy enough, that because it was just a piano and voice memo at first, but that was the first record Rodney Jerkins heard of mine. He was like, "No, I want to work with her." So that was another lesson. Like, okay, Alex, you got to get out of your own way sometimes,
right?
But you know, to know that people even resonate with the song to this day and love the way it sounds and the messaging and knew what I was, you know, trying to get at with saying that I'm leaving, but it's still an up-tempo song because you got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's working out, you know.
No, absolutely. And then Mirage, of course, that's one of the older records as well. That's how you got signed. I mean, talk about that one because there's a lot of interesting things going on there in the background, of course, in the songwriting. Just talk about that one.
So that's another song that was originally a voice memo.
Wow.
It was just 2 notes on the piano. I was doing it for 3 minutes, singing this sad song about getting my feelings hurt.
Right.
And then during the pandemic, I was doing live studio sessions, like with musicians, and we created the music around the song, so it's not just me banging on 2 notes.
Right.
And it's just crazy. Like I was writing a song in my most vulnerable moments. I was upset, and then I blinked my eyes. That's one of the first songs that the label hears, and that's the one that they you know, gravitate towards and make them want to meet me, which led to me being signed.
Right.
So I've been trying to figure out, like, what is the combination, like what is the science behind why people love that song so much.
Yeah.
I think I'm just super vulnerable. Like, I'm just throwing myself out there, which is very uncomfortable. It's always the songs that you think that you're going to keep for yourself that people want the most. So I'm just becoming comfortable with my vulnerability and becoming okay with sharing it and learning how to dig deep.
Well, I think one of the more vulnerable records is "So Be It," which I didn't even realize it because at
these
first
records hurt.
That's the Hurtbook for you, right? When I was listening to "So Be It" at first, I thought it was about like a relationship, but then as I'm listening to it, it's more about just you and your friend going through it. And it's like, I guess that's the beauty of good songwriting is you can have it applicable to anything. But like I think for you, it was a pretty personal record.
Yes, "So Be It" was about a friend breakup. One of my best friends were going through a really tough time. And it wasn't like we were having a fight. It was just life was kind of separating us. And that was the first song that we worked on in the Rodney Jerkins session. Right. I remember going in, like, kind of in my head, like, oh my God, this is a dark child session. Like, I gotta come up with the best ideas and drink, you know, Space Jam water, so I can like have great ideas. And when I got into the room with Reggie Beckton and Bishay, the other songwriters for the song, they're like, "So, like, what's on your mind? What you going through?" Right. I was like, man, I'll be honest, I don't have anything on my mind. I'm pretty blown right now. I'm going through a best friend breakup. And they were like, oh my God. Yeah. Me too. I know exactly how that feels. Right. So we went through some guitar loops, and I just started freestyling, and I got the first lines, and then before you know, we just blinked our eyes and just started word vomiting everything out. Wow. But yeah, "So Be It" hurt. But it was definitely just about relationships and how sometimes things have to come to an end. Yeah, fair enough. It's okay. And then the one that, I mean, I could go through this whole EP because I have so many favorites, but "Talking About Me," that's aggressive, Alex. Like, I know, I shocked myself. You're saying a lot on that one. Just talk about that one. So when I first heard that record, shout out to Jazzy, super, super talented artist and songwriter. That's another one that was produced by Camper. Yeah. When I first heard it, I was scared myself, but I was like, bro, I feel that. Like, you know, I'm a Scorpio, right? And like, I feel like there's just this inner aggression that just needs to come out. It's not necessarily to scare you, but it's just to let it be known. Yeah. I'm not one to play with. So when I first heard that record and I had the opportunity to like sing it, I was like, oh, hold on. Oh wait, hold on. And then a real time scenario occurs in my life that really makes me need to say these words. So it was just like, just kind of like life and just the universe and just magnetic something that just brought that whole record to life. Wow. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. That one, when I heard that one, I was like, well, she's saying some stuff on this one. Well, like, look, I'm not even trying to rhyme. I'm not trying to. I'm straight to the point. Like,
Yep.
look, I'm tired of what you're saying. Stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Now.
So, Alex, we've talked about your past, talked about the present.
Yes.
What can we expect in the future? Obviously, you're on the road with Ari Lennox right now on this tour.
Yes, I'm on my first tour right now.
Yeah.
Ari Lennox. This is my first international show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vancouver. Of course, you can expect more music.
Yeah.
You can expect more performances, just more appearances, whether that be on your phone, in your city,
Right.
on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I just plan on being everywhere
Wow.
all at once.
Wow. That's amazing. So, Alex, that's all we've got for you. We've been rocking with you since 2017.
And I appreciate it so much.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I've got a deluxe coming really soon.
Oh, wow. Nice. Sounds good. Appreciate it, Alex.
Thank you.